Hello everyone, this is Skateboard Canada. I'm Roger and thank you for tuning in. We try to tackle as much as we can as far as skateboarding goes and as much geography as we can handle. But today we've got a great guest from way up north in Canada in Whitehorse, Yukon, in Vance Hutchinson. Vance is a skater who's been skating for multiple decades, one of the older cats out there, and we're pretty lucky to have him come on with us. Without further ado, Vance, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Roger.
We're
Great
lucky
to be here.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Yeah, we're lucky to have some older guys that are still in the game, and you're in your later 40s like myself. And thanks for coming on today and taking some time out of your day to talk to us a little bit about what's going on with skateboarding up in the Yukon.
My pleasure.
Yeah, first things first, when did you get into skateboarding and kind of what was what got you into it in the beginning there? And let's start with that, Vance.
Probably 1984, 1985. Saw kids rolling around. Thought it looked awesome. I played team sports, but that just looked like something I could do that was athletic, but I didn't have to do a certain thing. Started rolling around with other kids, started finding ramps and kids that were better, and then started seeing older dudes and really getting into it and sort of really focusing on it. Kind of a common story, I think. My older brother skated. He thought it was cool.
So fast forward, it's 2021 and you're still having a good time out there. What are some of the bigger changes you see from back when we started into what's going on nowadays in skateboarding, Vance?
Wow. To be honest with you, I see it's weird. It's as a perspective of an older guy. Excuse me, we're a bit more stable and we still love to skate, and there's now this sort of older cushion behind skateboarding that wasn't there. That I didn't know any 40 plus dudes that had stories of all the stories. I didn't know any of those guys when I was a kid because they didn't really exist. And now I see going to skate parks, there's a lot of older folks that sort of have the when I was your age talk that we all do in our heads or at our mouths. But we have more money and more sort of social credit to keep skateboarding vibrant in a different way, because we can't destroy things the way we used to because we're so battered.
The facilities and the places that we can skate have definitely come a long way. Also, we were happy with just a fresh piece of a parking lot and a curb back in the day, and now we're blessed with such amazing skateboard parks. Where you're at in Whitehorse is no different, and you've recently been visited by the Transitions Construction guys, and they've done some amazing work in your city. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Vance, please?
Oh yeah, our new park. Culmination of a lot of work and a lot of time by a lot of good folks. I got to shout out Skate for Life Alliance, which is a nonprofit sort of voice of skateboarding here. It's got skaters and parents and people that see the positives in skateboarding and think it brings something important to the community. And through them, many of us put together as a team, Max Melvin McNutt, Emerald Gillespie, Joe Zucchiotti, and others, Sean Pierce, have been able to finally work to the point where we got the government funding to get a brand new concrete skate park designed by locals, and then done professionally, and then executed by Transition and a little bit of Radius Construction with local contractors. And all that hard work has come to a place that, man, people are seeing pictures and they want to come. I'm getting a lot of messages about road trips up here this year.
I'm one of them, and my crew is among those that want to come and visit. I've never been. To me, it sounds almost like a mystical place, so far away from where I'm at here in southern Alberta. We are hoping to make it up there, but what's the scene like up there? I mean, what's the skateboard scene like before this new skate park and present tense in Whitehorse, Yukon?
Well, there's always been good locals, like good local skaters. And, there's always a few people in every community. And we're at the point now where there's some, built skateboard park or apparatus of some kind in a lot of the smaller communities. Some of it's older, and when you get to it at first, it's a bit funky, but then when you realize you're literally in the middle of nowhere, this is the only smooth surface, and it's made for skateboarding. It's just a bit old and odd. You just have a great time, and then you camp out and go to the next place.
We were talking off camera about a little road trip that you and some other fellow Canadians have been taking through the years, where you visit the warm climate of California. And can you tell us a little bit about that, Vance? It sounds like a great time you guys have every year when you hit the road in the winter.
Oh, this is a trip. It's it's a little bit of dreams come true every spring or late winter. So it was started a little over 20 years ago by some of the East Coast OG skaters like Greg Baller and Rob Bell and John Raimondo, and they would organize it to everybody fly into Southern California, LA or San Diego, and hook up and get vans and shitty motels and everything that was new, old, iconic, beautiful, sketchy, crusty, just skate everything. And that trip has gone on every year. In fact, I went, we can't go this year, but I was there a year ago this year. And I've been lucky enough to be able to go on this trip every year. And I've now been lucky enough to bring a couple of younger Whitehorse guys out there with us to just broaden their horizons.
Is that what it's all about now for us older fellas, to pass the torch and continue having a good time ourselves? But it looks like the next generation of skateboarders are pretty ripe. What do you think of the Olympics, Vance? I mean, that's a big question, but what's your take on that, being an older skater like myself?
Yeah, traditions are tough, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the Olympics were, pushed pretty hard, and Montreal Olympics, and, I skated the Big O. I know why it existed, that kind of thing. But if it's your thing, it's your thing. I'm not pushing it. I'm not for or against it. It's something that's happening. And, there's lots of skateboarding that not everybody does. I'm pretty old, and I see the ledges like, Tiago Lemos skates, and that's not a skate spot to me. So there's different ways to skate. People love SLS and all that street league stuff and the old X Games. And if that's your bag and you like to see that, pocketed, adrenaline-driven concentration of competition, I got nothing bad to say about that. You go. If that works for you and that makes you the best person you can be, you just give her.
What style of a skate park have you guys got going up there? Not to change subject entirely, because I mean that's a great answer to a tough question, but the Olympics are going to have a couple different types of skating, like bowl or street or whatever. But what type of a skate park have you guys got built up there? And what kind of guys would excel there if you could have your dream pros come and visit, Vance?
Look, it's interesting because the design of this park was by community. We actually had meetings where we would all sit down and in groups, and we'd shuffle the groups around the, little round tables with 4, 5, 6 people at them, including legislators. And we would cut out bits of parks that several of us had traveled to, and we knew what they were. And we would have the area mapped out on sheets of paper, and we'd get people to, in all these groups, take their perspectives and see what they wanted at parks. And so we sort of took those ideas and averaged them out. But that community input was, of course, predominantly from skateboarders who were, actually teaching the community about why things are done a certain way in a skate park or why you can do them certain ways or not. But then we got input from the community that many of us didn't think about. And it's not because we're insensitive, but it's, sometimes you're just isolated or ignorant of the issues. So one of the gentlemen that we lean heavily on is a wheelchair athlete. And so it was his important point that there be clear accessibility to the park, in and out of the park and around the park. And, for a lot of us, we're just thinking about stairs or big banks and things like that. And so that sort of thing. Where do parents go? Will there be, spectators and things that the skaters are less focused on, we'll say. So, having said that, we have everything, big gold pan dish in the center, big massive volcanoes, brick banks, stairs, ledges, a big flow bowl with steep walls and oververt clamshell, and a clover bowl that's going to have pool concrete on it that the kids hear. It's alien terrain to them, like it's from the moon. Considering we had, the prefab clangy aluminum and plastic banks and little short, narrow, dangerous, sharp as hell quarter pipes, cracked concrete, and sticky asphalt.
You guys are stoked. You should work for Tourism Yukon with that description of what people can expect there. And I know it's coming through a skater's perspective, so I'm following you 100% there. I can't wait personally. I know that a lot of guys are going to have a great time seeing how beautiful it is up there, and just to see again the great concrete that people can enjoy with their skateboards. What else can I ask you, Vance, here? This has been pretty informative, and I think that people have had a pretty good description of what's going on up there. One last question. What do you guys do for product? Do you mail order stuff? Is there a skateboard shop up there? And maybe answer that for the people across the world and in Canada. I know you guys are a little isolated, but how isolated are you up there?
Pretty isolated. So we do have limited availability. So for years, a friend of mine, Shandor, ran a men's clothing store that was also a skate and snow shop. So, they carried shoes and decks and trucks and wheels, anything you'd really need to skate, but, limited quantities because it's still a business, right? So later on, I got a little bit more involved and helped them sort of direct their product a little better. Because I was at the park and I knew what the kids like, and so bringing in stuff that maybe they were looking at more on social media or they were watching, whereas guys like me want bigger boards and big fat trucks and little bigger wheels. A lot of these guys are smaller decks, a lot more street techie stuff, and just sort of letting them know that that's where the what people want, or even to ask the kids like, what kind of trucks do you want? Like all of a sudden, Thunder trucks were showing up because that's what the kids wanted. And now we have a shop operated by the homie Rory, and it's called the Franchise Footwear. And, they carry good assortment of decks and trucks and all the accessories and some good shop decks. Shop decks are always a nice option for the local kids. And since I can do a little bit more, I keep a lot of my old wood, and that old wood gets reused at the parks quite a bit. I try to get that back into the running because I'm not the kid that's hucking myself down 8 stairs 100 times in a day to try to learn a trick, and so I'm not that hard on my shit. And I'll wear it out to the point where I'll want to swap it out, but that stuff will get recycled at the park for sure. So you got to help out, man.
Yeah, skateboard etiquette right there, 100%, Vance. You sent a couple photos before we got on the air with you. Can we just have a look at those, Vance, and tell us about those real quick here? What can you tell us about the photos that you sent over, Vance, starting with this one?
Okay, this is BK Brandon, and this is a local skater who rips, by the way, and he got hired by Transition.
Sick.
So, we got video of him spraying shotcrete his first time, learning how to do that, learning how to do all the carpentry and the real construction behind making concrete parks. And So he's part of the crew, man. Local part of the crew.
Wow, bright future. Nice going. What do you
Yep.
got here? This looks like a
This
ramp.
is my backyard. This is my backyard. So that's the view we get to skate with. It's Gray Mountain in the background there, and my rotating coping blocks. I like to have that little feel of pool coping even on the mini ramp.
Nice,
This
nice,
thing
very
gets the
nice.
crap kicked out of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Seen some killer sessions, I'm sure, Vance. That's awesome. What do you got here?
Oh, this is Patrick Matthew Robinson, Swayze. I'm gonna guess that's a three flip, and that's probably an unfiltered photograph. Because I mean, one of the great things, the transition construction guys are skaters, but most of their photos were camping, man, and doing all the other stuff around here. Because if that's the view you got to look at, that's way better than TV. Okay,
1000%.
that's the new Clover Bowl. Now this is based on the Poods Bowl at the new Encinitas Park, and we don't have a third depth. The top two clovers are the top two bowls are actually the same depth, and that was a bit of a design issue with the actual specs. We caught it early enough though, because that bowl, the deep bowl, could have only been 6 feet. So we got lucky and we caught that one early enough that they could put in order to get that deep enough. And behind that is the flow park with the oververt clam and all the spines and all that, all the fun corners and great ways to die.
Yes, yes. This is what awaits you, everybody.
Oh wow!
Beautiful,
No, we've
beautiful.
already had some great sessions.
And how many to come? Oh my gosh, you guys are looking
Oh
good for
man,
years,
so
years to
excited.
come. Great work, Vance, and everyone up there for nailing that down. It's not easy, but like 10 out of 10. You guys are gonna have visitors from all over the world, and this year included. How close are you guys done to getting it done, Vance?
Supposed to be done by the end of summer. I think the actual opening date is like late September. That'll be the official, but it'll definitely be skated before that. Most of it is the flat concrete and the connecting concrete between the obstacles. That's the bulk of the concrete that's got to get poured. Because the bowl is poured, it just needs coping put on it. The flow bowl is poured, it just needs to be connected to the rest of the park. I mean, the thing's enormous.
Lighting.
Oh, the lighting's got to go in, but the park itself, and by the summer you don't need the lighting anyway.
So, Vance, I'm a visitor and I want to come up and visit and skate that. What advice can you give me? Say I want to visit from somewhere far away. What do I need to know before I make my way up to Whitehorse, Yukon in the year or two to come here?
Ride the highway.
Well, if you got the time and the money, drive the highway.
Yeah.
Like come up, drive from somewhere down south. Like if you're coming from Edmonton, drive it. If you're coming from somewhere in BC, drive it, because it will stun you. I mean, you really are getting to the edge of the world up here, man. So then you got to decide, how do you want to live? You want to couch surf with buddies? You want to meet the homies? Like I met a kid, Evan, a few years ago, and he was living in his car. And so my wife found out, she's like, oh my God, let him come have a shower and we'll feed him, for God's sake. And he lived here for 4 months. So, these things happen. We got spare rooms. You guys can come hang out. I know the Hastings Beach dudes are looking to make their way up here. I'm hoping the East Coast guys get up here, the TO guys, Alberta boys.
No doubt.
There's so much to skate too. So you got to decide, do you want to camp? Do you want to stay in a hotel? There's local campgrounds that are just a skate away from the park.
Wow.
Lots of hotels.
Everybody, you hearing all this? This is insane. I'm absorbing this. This is incredible. This is so awesome.
Plus, we can, within an hour, you can go to other places like these, like I was telling you about, these crazy little spots in the little towns.
Yeah.
There's, I sent you a picture of a guy doing a frontside grind in this little concrete bowl and that's 50 minutes away from here in Carcross.
Yeah.
Which they have this, one of those prefab flat ground parks. Yeah, there. So up in the top, that's all prefab flat ground stuff now with some quarter pipes and a half pipe, and then this little concrete bowl. But what you don't see is that it's, walk 2 minutes and you go get great ice cream. Walk 2 more minutes and you're on the beach
Yep.
of this enormous icy cold lake. And you can watch the old trains go by. And then you can go mountain biking, like world-class trails of mountain biking, or go fishing.
Yeah, world-class mountain.
Wow, 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 wow.
So there's so much to do.
Yeah, Vance, incredible, incredible. What can I say?
And the people are great.
You've done a great job of painting a picture that is very inviting for skaters and everyone else. But we're going to come and
Sure
visit
hope
you.
so.
You can expect a visit from us here. And I got to say thanks again.
Oh, yeah,
Vance,
you're welcome. We got extra rooms.
Yeah, geez, man.
We got extra rooms, man.
Okay, well, we're bringing a crew up. I'm just going to side talk about that after with you, but I got to say,
Right on.
Vance, thanks very much for coming on with us tonight. We're gonna wrap it up here and hit the edit board after this. But once again, I appreciate you coming on and painting a picture of what's going on up in Whitehorse, Yukon. Anyone you want to say shout out to, or good night to, or goodbye to before we take off here, Vance?
Well, since the California trip isn't going, I wanted to shout out all the California boys from Halifax to White. We'll make it next year. All the local skaters and all the people, supporters inside and outside of government, because they really were the financial backers of this. The local companies like Castle Rock, who did the demo, concrete companies, all the local people that come out and just bring these dudes coffee, bring the workers coffee, bring them sandwiches, barbecue for them, and hang out and just make them part of the community. Everybody put in a great effort, and we're really being rewarded, and they all need to be congratulated for that. It's the product of great stuff.
You're right, Vance. You're one of them, and so again, I got to say thanks for coming on and kind of sharing all the good news with us and everyone. We're going to get this out ASAP and let everybody know what's going on. Have a great rest of the evening, Vance, and we'll talk to you again here. I hope we can see you in person, and we'll high five and go for a rip in the new park up there. And to everyone up there, take care, and thanks for all the great efforts to get this to happen for us. Thanks again, Vance.
Well, thanks for all your effort, Roger. We appreciate it, and thanks for giving us a voice. And thanks back there, Corey. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Corey says thanks, and yeah, thanks to your wife there too. I know she had some key information for us there, and you guys take care, and all the best to you up there in the Yukon.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, brother.
See you soon.
Well, there you go, folks. We had no idea there was such awesome things to await us up in the Yukon of Canada. And thanks again to Vance for coming on and sharing that with us. We look forward to meeting him in person sometime this year, hopefully. To everyone out there tuning in, thanks for having us on. It's Roger from Skateboard Canada. Can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.